Let's jump right into it. Number 8. Saying bless you when someone sneezes. It feels automatic. Someone sneezes near you and your mouth just blurts bless you like your brain hit a reflex shortcut. But this polite little reflex, it started as a soul-catching emergency. Back in ancient Greece, people believed sneezing meant your soul was trying to escape, so someone had to bless you fast to make sure it didn't wander off. Basically the spiritual version of slamming a door before your cat escapes. Then the Romans made it more dramatic. They thought sneezing was a sign you were about to drop dead. So they'd say Jupiter preserve you, like spiritual seatbelts for your soul. But the real superstition hit hard during the plague of Justinian in 541 CE. People were sneezing, then collapsing within days. So Pope Gregory the Great made God bless you the official sneeze response. Because if death was knocking, at least someone said something nice before it kicked the door in. Fast forward to today and we're still doing it. In elevators, in Zoom meetings, across crowded airports, you hear a sneeze and instinctively go full priest mode. Meanwhile, science says sneezing is just pressure. Your body's way of ejecting irritants at 100 miles per hour. There's no devil, no soul departure. Number 7. Birthday candles. Every year you gather around a cake, ignite a tiny bonfire, and blow spit all over it while people clap. But this sweet little tradition, it started as a lunar fan letter. The ancient Greeks baked round cakes for Artemis, goddess of the moon. Then they added candles to mimic her glow. Lighting them was supposed to signal her, hey Artemis, big fan, mind blessing this birthday? Basically the ancient version of tagging a celebrity in your story and praying they look. Cute idea, except the moon never RSVPs. Centuries later, the Germans gave it a darker twist. They believed birthdays attracted evil spirits. Like your special day was a spiritual open house and demons just wandered in looking for cake. So they started putting candles on cakes as a spiritual security system. The smoke was meant to confuse or block demons. And the flames? They kept them from getting too close. It was basically an early version of antivirus software, but for your soul. Then came the rules. Make a wish. Blow out all the candles in one breath, miss even one, and your wish got canceled. No retrees, no backup plan, straight to the void. Fast forward to today, we're still doing it. Now they're just backup lighting for cake selfies. Science, by the way, hates this tradition. A 2017 study showed that blowing out candles can increase bacteria on the frosting by 1,400%. So yeah, nothing says happy birthday like launching airborne saliva onto something we all eat. Number 6, clinking glasses before a drink. Seems like a classy ritual. But it started as a medieval trust fall with alcohol. Back in the days of feasts and daggers, poisoning your enemy was considered totally normal, especially if you were rich, powerful, or just mildly annoying. So people invented a solution. Slam your glass into the other person's, hard enough to spill some into each other's drink. Basically a medieval version of, if I go down, you're coming with me. It wasn't about friendship, it was about mutual survival. If your host was willing to risk sipping your poison, maybe you weren't being set up for a very fancy murder. Over time, the splash became more symbolic. Eventually it turned into a soft tap. No spilling, just sound. And today, you clink glasses with someone because it's tradition, not because you're checking for cyanide. Some people say the sound was to include the sense of hearing in the toast, as if your ears were feeling left out. But mostly it's just a leftover ritual from when drinking could be a death sentence. So yeah, that polite little clink before a drink, it's not about celebration, it's about trusting someone not to kill you in public. Cheers. Number 5, wedding rings on the 4th finger. It feels romantic. Slide the ring on that finger, cue the music, insert happy crying. But the only reason that finger got picked? Because of a fake vein and some very confident guesswork. Back in ancient Rome, people believed there was a vein of love, the vena amoris, running directly from your 4th finger to your heart. No dissection, no evidence, just vibes. Basically, the relationship version of Google Maps looks perfect until it tells you to turn into a lake. So that finger became the go-to for wedding rings. Not because it's special, but because ancient people thought anatomy worked like a rom-com. Over time, it got locked in as tradition. Victorians made it worse. They doubled down on the symbolism and diamond companies did the rest. Romance got replaced with marketing. Putting a ring there was less about blood flow and more about brand loyalty. Other cultures had different ideas. Some put the ring on the right hand. In India, some wore wedding rings on their toes. And in 17th century England, rings could go on any finger, as long as your dowry didn't include livestock. Today, we still slide the ring onto that 4th finger, even though modern science says all fingers have veins. So yeah, the 4th finger isn't sacred. It's just a mix of Roman fan fiction, Victorian PR, and centuries of people agreeing not to question it. Number 4, wishing on a shooting star. It feels magical, personal, like the universe just made eye contact with you. But this whole wish upon a light streak thing, it started as ancient sky panic. The Greeks thought stars falling from the heavens meant the gods were peeking down, literally opening a window to check on Earth. So people made a wish, hoping the gods were in a good mood. Basically the ancient version of DMing a celebrity, when they're actually online. The Romans thought it was souls falling from the sky. So if you didn't make your wish fast enough, a random ghost might grab it first. It wasn't romantic, it was a supernatural Hunger Games. Then medieval Europe Europe made it weird, as usual. They believed shooting stars were like the universe checking its inbox. You had one chance to send your wish, no confirmation, no reply, just hope for the best. By the 1800s, people believed if you said the wish out loud, it would vanish. Basically the don't tell or it won't come true rule. Today we still treat it like a cosmic birthday candle. See a shooting star, make a silent wish, and pretend NASA just delivered it personally. Meanwhile, science calls them meteoroids burning up in the atmosphere. You're not witnessing magic. You're watching a rock scream through the sky at 25,000 mph. But sure, go ahead, whisper your dreams to atmospheric debris. Can't hurt. Number 3. Tossing coins into fountains. It feels nostalgic, hopeful, like you're bribing the universe with spare change. But this whole wish-tossing tradition, it started with people trying not to die of thirst. Back in ancient Europe, natural springs were seen as sacred. People believed water gods lived there, and if you wanted clean water, you had to pay rent. So they tossed in coins as offerings, hoping the water spirits didn't give them dysentery. Basically the original subscription to plan for not getting cursed. The Romans took it further. They thought tossing in coins could buy them good health, safe travels, or future promotion from Jupiter himself. Temples even built fancy fountains to collect offerings. It was less about wishes, more about heavenly bribes. By the time the Trevi Fountain showed up in 1700s Italy, the whole thing had become a tourist ritual. Legend said if you tossed a coin over your left shoulder with your right hand, you'd return to Rome. Miss a step and maybe you're stuck in Toledo forever. Then Hollywood got involved. Suddenly fountain wishing wasn't about gods, it was about love, and movies made it romantic. Make a wish, lock eyes, cue the orchestral music. Now we do it without even thinking. Toss a coin, close your eyes, and hope your crush texts you back. Or that your ex stops showing up in group chats like a cursed emoji. Meanwhile, city workers clean those fountains out and find thousands in change. It's not magic, it's maintenance. Number 2. Wearing black to funerals. Seems respectful. Somber, like you're trying to match the mood without saying anything. But this whole funeral uniform started in ancient Rome, where mourning meant making yourself look as sad and spooky as possible. They called it toga pula, literally, a dark cloak worn when things were going terribly wrong. Basically the ancient version of setting your status to leave me alone, in fabric form. Then medieval Europeans took it up a notch. Wearing black meant you had money, the dye was expensive. So funerals became the Met Gala for sadness. You weren't just mourning, you were mourning in luxury fabric. By the Victorian era, Queen Victoria made black mourning outfits an Olympic sport. After her husband died, she wore black for 40 years. That set the trend for everyone else. If you didn't show up in head-to-toe gloom, people thought you weren't sad enough. It turned funerals into fashion statements. Grief became a dress code. Meanwhile, other cultures had completely different vibes. In China, India, and parts of Africa, people wear white, the color of purity and rebirth. But in the West, black's stuck. It's minimalist, it's serious, and it goes with every cemetery backdrop. Now, it's so automatic, people treat it like the default setting for sadness. Even if the deceased specifically said no black, there's always that one aunt who shows up dressed like she's auditioning for a Tim Burton reboot. Number 1. Putting your hand over your heart. It feels meaningful, serious, like you're syncing your heartbeat with the national anthem. But this whole thing, it's not ancient tradition. It's a remix of Roman theater, medieval oath hacks, and some emergency rebranding during World War II. Ancient Romans used hand on heart to say, I speak from the soul. They didn't have polygraphs, so this was the original I swear I'm not lying button. Medieval knights used it too when they couldn't find a sword or a Bible. They just tapped their chest and hoped everyone believed them. Basically the feudal version of saying, trust me, bro. In 1700s Europe, rich guys started posing in portraits like they'd just finished a pledge. But it wasn't patriotism, it was fashion. The hand-on-heart look said, I'm noble, cultured, and only mildly corrupt. In the US, people originally did the Bellamy salute, hands stretched forward during the pledge. But once the Nazis started doing the exact same thing, America had a branding crisis. So Congress made the hand-over-heart move official in 1942. Now it's standard. Pledge, hand over heart. Anthem, hand over heart. Even if you're holding a drink and a hot dog, the hand still goes up, like muscle memory trained by patriotism and peer pressure. That's all for now. Subscribe to see what's coming next, hit like, or start a comment debate. It all helps.